Abby Hill's return could be the game-changer Collingwood desperately needs, and the stakes couldn't be higher this week. But here's the twist. Despite Collingwood securing 2 final spots, Hill's availability remains uncertain, turning him into a wild card that could tip the balance. Collingwood's forward line has been struggling to click, often appearing disjointed and lacking spark. Simply put, they need Hill back on the field more than ever. After some time away, Hill recently resumed training with the club, which fuels hope that he might feature in the Magpies' second final, whether it's a semi-final or preliminary clash. In a heartfelt plea to Coach Craig McRae, Hill asked, "Give me some hope, Coach." This is more than a polite request. It highlights the player's strong desire to contribute to the team's success. The opportunity shouldn't just be a cautious option. It deserves to be a full embrace. Hill should not only be considered for the next final, but should absolutely play on Thursday night in Adelaide. Yes, selecting Hill involves some risk. He may not be fully match fit after time off, but given he's been training and considering his role as a small forward, the endurance demands are different from those on bigger players. It's important to note that small forwards like Hill don't require the same level of long-distance running as midfielders or defenders do. Moreover, Hill is known to elevate his performance during significant matches, so his presence could reignite Collingwood's forward line, which has noticeably faltered in his absence. While Jeremy Howe's absence is also deeply felt, Hill's role is unique. Collingwood's tall forwards, including Dan McStay, Brodie Mihocek, and Tim Membry, have been inconsistent or off their best. The team has missed the kind of dynamic impact Hill consistently provides. Meanwhile, Jamie Elliott continues to shoulder much of the goal-scoring burden effectively. His exclusion from the All-Australian team remains baffling, especially when you consider the other controversial selections. Jeremy Cameron being named captain for the first time, Nick Dacos being voted the best player by peers yet excluded from full team selection, and Sean Manning's odd classification as the oldest young player in the league. Elliott's omission stands out, given his impressive 52-goal season, far exceeding other comparable players like Zach Bailey, who was picked as a small forward with 33 goals. Regardless of accolades, Elliott's importance this Thursday night cannot be overstated. When Adelaide beat Collingwood in round 23, it ended the Magpies' 10-match winning streak against them. However, that game was played mostly in wet conditions, which arguably did not favor Adelaide's taller forwards, a key advantage over Collingwood's relatively smaller backline. Collingwood led by 4 goals in the first term before the rain became a factor, partly due to midfield and ruck dominance as reflected in 71 inside 50 entries compared to Adelaide's 37. Unfortunately, Collingwood failed to convert these opportunities efficiently, exposing a gap filled only by a player like Hill. At the very least, bringing Hill on as a substitute could add a vital spark against the Crows. Of course, this depends on his fitness and also the personal challenges he's faced recently, which have contributed to his absence. These emotional and mental factors are sometimes overlooked, but can be crucial in understanding a player's readiness. Meanwhile, since that round 23 meeting, Jordan De Goey and Beau McCreary have found better form. De Goey's match fitness is improving steadily, and McCreary's speed and defensive pressure remain essential, even though a foot issue threatens his availability. Despite their recent struggles, just 2 wins in the last 7 games, Collingwood still has the potential to surprise, especially with Hill's possible inclusion. Adelaide enters the final as favorites, deservedly so after their previous win and strong home record. They top the ladder and will have key players like Max Michelani, Rory Laird, and Luke Pedlar fit and ready. Their only loss is Isaac Rankine, which does make a notable difference. Could Hill's return balance that out and shift momentum? It's an intriguing possibility worth pondering. Switching focus to Geelong, they found form at the perfect moment, winning all their last 6 games, even if those wins came mostly against weaker opponents. This leads to an interesting debate. Does Geelong's softer schedule give them a false sense of confidence, or are they genuinely peaking? Although tougher tests would have been ideal, teams don't always control their opponents late in the season. Injuries don't appear to be a concern. They are nearly full strength, with only Toby Conway sidelined for most of his limited career games. Geelong has struggled against Brisbane recently, losing their past 3 encounters, including last year's preliminary final. The Cats must decide whether their Irish taggers Mark O'Connor and Oisin Mullen will target Brisbane's Lachie Neale, Dane Zorko, or Hugh McCluggage. Brisbane's defensive setup, including Josh Dunkley, also adds an interesting tactical layer, especially since Joe Danaher's absence hasn't severely impacted them during the season. With tall forward options limited due to injuries to Danaher and Eric Hipwood, Brisbane relies heavily on young Premiership player Logan Morris, who, at just 20 years old, faces a significant challenge. Hawthorn's reliance on a 4-tall forward line might raise eyebrows given current trends, but it's far from unusual for their club. Jack Gunston himself realized it's a standard pattern for Hawthorn after recalling Premiership teams featuring 4 tall forwards, Buddy Franklin, Jared Ruhead, and David Hale among them. While the current batch may not boast the same star power, it's a well-rounded group. Mabior Chol, fast and comfortable at ground level, doubles as a second ruck. Gunston is in career-best form, leading strongly into space. Mitch Lewis offers aerial strength, and versatile Cal Sherdeer brings a blend of skills that's hard to pin down, but effective. This forward unit will pose problems for the Giants, despite Sam Taylor's recent All-Australian recognition in defense. Hawthorn's small forwards could be the deciding factor, especially considering their midfield weaknesses. Without Will Day, teams can concentrate on Jai Newcomb, which limits their run and ball movement. That's where wingman Josh Weddle's blistering pace becomes key. He could provide the attacking spark Hawthorn needs to challenge GWS, a team they've struggled to beat outside Tasmania since 2021. Finally, the Gold Coast Suns have made history by reaching the finals for the first time. The champagne might have flowed, celebrations are justified, but here's the challenge. Will the players avoid the trap of complacency? Coach Damien Hardwick will be keen to remind them that this achievement is just the beginning. The goal now is to enjoy the freedom that comes from breaking past barriers and play with unleashed confidence. With the pressure of making finals lifted, this Sun squad could,